Well, I want to welcome everybody. My name is Amy Buckmaster. I am the CEO of Chambers San Mateo County. I am a San Carlos kid through and through. I was raised there and had a wonderful, wonderful experience growing up in San Carlos. It's very near and dear to my heart. So today's program is part of our San Mateo County Good Morning program. And these are basically platforms for sharing ideas, information, and inspiration. Business and community, we're coming together to engage and learn from each other and go out and make a difference in their community. Today's scheduled program I'm excited about will be our San Carlos Mayor, Adam Rack, San Carlos Vice Mayor, John Dugan, presenting the basically overview of San Carlos and look ahead of what is in store for the city. If you have any questions, I just want to clarify for the Mayor Rack and for Vice Mayor Dugan today, please just feel free to email them directly and then they can respond to you. And Maggie will put that in our chat. And now I want to acknowledge our elected officials who have joined us virtually, and those representing today are Mario Rendon, who is representing the office of Congressman Kevin Mullen, Joan Dentler, who is representing the office of State Senator Josh Becker, Gina Quiney, representing the office of San Mateo County Supervisor Ray Mueller, San Carlos Mayor Adam Rack, Vice Mayor John Dugan of San Carlos, Council Member Sarah McDowell, Council Member Ron Collins. You've got your San Carlos lineup. San Carlos Council Member Pranita Ventutesh. Oh God, Pranita, I'm sorry if I blotched that.
Venkatesh.
Thank you, Mayor. We have Mountain View Council Member Ellen Kamei joining us. We have a new Sequoia High School District Trustee Amy Q joining us, and new Board of Trustee for the San Carlos School District Sarah Kinahan. And we have a couple former mayors joining us today, former Mayor Tom Davids and former Mayor David Buckmaster. So now I have the honor, and I'm very excited about this. You don't need to hear me introduce Adam or John. You do need to hear a very special young woman from San Carlos, who has joined us today to do the introductions. And I cannot tell you how amazing this woman is. She is a product of San Carlos schools, and she is someone to watch out for. She may give somebody a run for his money, the current mayor. More to come, but it is my honor to introduce to you Phoebe Rack, and she will be doing our introductions to introduce the vice mayor and our mayor, Adam Rack.
Hi, everyone. I'm Phoebe. I'll introduce Vice Mayor Dugan first. So Vice Mayor Dugan has been a San Carlos resident for 24 years and was elected to the City Council in 2020. Prior to joining the City Council, John served on the San Carlos Planning Commission and coached youth sports. He values San Carlos's character and charm and believes that local government should be responsive, efficient, transparent, and most of all, reasonable. His priorities include improving sidewalks and roads, affordable housing, planning an even better downtown, and ensuring new development works for everyone in San Carlos. John works as a legal and business consultant and helps his wife, Julia, run the Academy of American Dance in Redwood City. I danced at the Academy of American Dance for several years. So to me, Vice Mayor Dugan is my vice mayor, but he is also the dancing bear in the Nutcracker. They have 3 children, Jake, Jackie, Joya, and a basset hound named Juggernaut. So I'm proud to introduce your vice mayor, John Dugan. I would also like to introduce my dad, Mayor Rack. Mayor Rack is what I call a San Carlos fan. He has been working to make positive change in what he, my mom, Allison, my sisters, Jane, Lydia, and I consider to be the best city in the world for about as long as I can remember. So nobody was surprised when my dad decided to run for City Council. From working on the San Carlos School Board to create the upper elementary schools, Arroyo and Mariposa, to building a new Central Middle School, and to his work on the City Chamber of Commerce, the City Council, and now to mayor, It's no stretch to say that Mayor Rack has played an integral role in the city of San Carlos, and he continues to bring integrity, compassion, and dedication to his role as mayor. It's not an exaggeration to say that Mayor Rack loves San Carlos, even down to the birds of San Carlos, which he feeds and watches with loving care. He will often announce, "I'm off to Big Canyon to see my birds." And he was recently nicknamed the Lorax by our family members after his dedication to preserving the special live oak and heritage trees native to San Carlos. San Carlos is a special city and has a close-knit community. The city council is comprised of dedicated citizens who truly want to make a positive difference. The city council does not take breaks, and this is shown especially true during the recent storms that have devastated our community. From the quick response to close Laurel Street to vehicle traffic during the pandemic's beginning, to investing in more affordable housing units so that my generation can afford to live in the city that we grew up in. The city council and Mayor Rack and Vice Mayor Dugan have been working tirelessly to support the city that they love. I'm a junior at Smith College and I'm studying government. My dad and I have always bonded over being what we call local political nerds. And he has inspired me to learn the importance of local government and the profound impact that you can make. This past election season, my dad and I communicated daily from 3,000 miles away to discuss almost every detail of the local city council and school board elections in San Mateo County. Saying that most people would find this topic dull would be an understatement. Mayor Rack has developed meaningful connections with many fellow San Carlins or San Carlos fans, from business owners to community members. Most mornings you can find him at Pete's talking to San Carlins and listening to their ideas with a thought of how to make San Carlos an even better place to live. I'm excited to see what Mayor Rack and Vice Mayor Dugan have planned for this year, and I'm confident with their ability to be change makers in the city that we love. With that, it's my honor to introduce the mayor of San Carlos, but more importantly, my dad, Adam Rack.
Thank you, Phoebe. Now, Phoebe, when Amy asked me if I would like you to introduce me, I didn't think you'd be sharing any family nicknames. But in all seriousness, thank you for that thoughtful and wonderful introduction. I love you very much. Let me also, now things are, we've got all, hold on. My technology prowess is being put to the test here. Not sure what happened. There we go. All right, I will try not to touch anything. Good morning, and thank you for attending the State of the City address. As Mayor of San Carlos, I'm proud to share our city's successes and achievements, as well as the city's vision for the future. And I want to thank Vice Mayor John Dugan for joining me this morning here at City Hall to co-present. And we'd like to start by thanking the Chamber of San Mateo County and Amy Buckmaster for hosting this event on our behalf. It's an honor to partner with the Chamber and to have the opportunity to collaborate and share with our neighbors and peers at the City of Redwood City, City of Belmont, and the City of Menlo Park. I would also like to thank our city staff for helping put this presentation together, especially Niall Blackburn and Brian Carey. On behalf of my colleagues on the San Carlos City Council, it is a privilege to serve the community of San Carlos. San Carlins are hardworking, engaged, and thoughtful individuals with strong ties to their community. It is in thinking about these ties that I've selected Building Better Connections as the central theme for this presentation and for all the work we plan to do moving ahead. Next slide, please. Before jumping into what we've planned, I'd like to highlight some of our successes of the past year. Starting from the top, downtown, in February of 2022, the council approved a contract with consultants to assist the city in preparing a specific plan for downtown. By October, we created a diverse downtown advisory committee from over 100 community applicants. We met with stakeholders and focus groups and held our first community workshop with over 150 community members participating. The specific plan will also address new roadway designs and streetscape improvements within the downtown and around the Civic Center, present strategies for optimal use of parking, expand and improve walkability, and identify desired community amenities. While the specific plan is underway, the council has committed to interim improvements to Laurel Street, specifically the 700 block and parklet program, which is currently approved through September 2023. Last year, the City Council adopted our below market rate, or BMR, housing ordinance, which extends all future BMR deeds into perpetuity instead of just 45 years. In addition, we sought to encourage new rental housing by raising the condo BMR requirements to 20%. We eliminated many of the loopholes that developers have used to make BMR units less desirable than market rate units. In collaboration with Charities Housing, the City of San Carlos completed its first 100% affordable housing project in over a decade at 817 Walnut Street. With a $7.3 million investment by the City of San Carlos and funding from the County of San Mateo, the California Municipal Finance Authority, and others, this project came to fruition and opened in June of 2022 and provides 23 units of extremely low, very low, and low income housing. Public safety is always top of mind in the City of San Carlos. The city's fire and parks teams continue to work hard to reduce risks posed by wildfire through regular fuels reduction work in our parks and open spaces, as well as public outreach and education. A virtual wildfire preparedness community meeting was held in August of 2022 to share tips on how community members can create a defensible space around their homes and prepare for possible evacuations via SMC alerts and Zone Haven. Meanwhile, the Sheriff's Office continued to roll out enhanced crisis intervention training for de-escalation techniques, solved the Devonshire Little Store cold case homicide, and sponsored the annual gun buyback event. Currently, the east side of San Carlos anticipates approximately 3.5 million square feet over the next 10 years in new development in the life science and biotechnology sectors. To harness this growth, the city approved a vision for the industrial area between Terminal Way to Britain, which resulted in the East Side Innovation District Vision Plan, which recently won an American Planning Association award. In addition, over the last few years, numerous properties have changed hands, and the industrial area north of Holly is now also experiencing renewed development interest. To ensure a thoughtful approach, the City Council adopted a 2-year moratorium to allow for a strategic development plan in the northeast area of San Carlos. This plan will consider and address several topics, including potential ways to support new and existing businesses in the area, whether housing is appropriate, and how we might address flooding from Belmont Creek. We will also look at improving pedestrian and bike access to and through the area while providing connections from the San Carlos and Belmont Caltrain stations and more. One new life science project in that area, located at 642 Quarry Road, is moving forward because its application was deemed complete before the moratorium went into effect. In addition to investing $30 million in pavement rehabilitation and street resurfacing, the council agreed to invest $11.3 million in 5 projects between 2021 and 2026 to develop better infrastructure and connections throughout our city, including the San Carlos Avenue Sidewalk Project, traffic calming measures, Britton Avenue sidewalk improvements, intersection pedestrian improvements, and safe routes to school. Because of the city's strong fiscal policies and practices, the City Council was able to meet the growing demands of the community to approve a $3.3 million increase in the city's general fund total operating budget for additional programming and staffing to support the new development, infrastructure spending, and traffic and mobility improvements. San Carlos continues to prioritize its commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and protecting our natural environment. This past year, the council adopted a new protected tree ordinance, thus my nickname, and city staff conducted extensive outreach related to electrification, disposable foodware serviceware, EV charging, and several energy efficiency programs sponsored by our partners. In an effort to address the pervasive childcare shortage impacting San Carlos and much of the Bay Area, the City Council passed an ordinance establishing a childcare impact fee for new non-residential development in order to create more capacity. The Community Development Department worked hard to simplify the search process for families by creating a detailed and dedicated webpage with information about local childcare facilities, preschools, and resources for childcare providers, operators, and parents. I want to thank the outstanding leadership of my predecessor, Sarah McDowell. Because of her, San Carlos has and will continue to take a leadership role in this important issue. Next slide, please. 2022 was a banner year for community events in the City of Good Living. We saw families, individuals, businesses, and visitors from neighboring communities come to our City of Good Living to connect, eat, drink, learn, share, and celebrate. The community joined together in honor of the 40th anniversary of Hometown Days and relished the return of other beloved community events, including the Goblin Walk, San Carlos Art and Wine Fair, Pride in the Park, the San Carlos Block Party, Night of Holiday Lights, and our San Carlos Day of Service. We saw record attendance numbers at all of these returning events. All of our annual community events, in addition to much of our year-round programming, including our adult community center courses, open space trail building, many youth center classes, and more, are only made possible because of the support of our dedicated community volunteers. San Carlins of all ages showed up last year to donate their time and effort in a variety of ways, ensuring the success of both our large-scale community events and our day-to-day programs and services. The intrinsically collaborative nature of these San Carlos traditions is what makes them so special and so enduring. They remain some of the most important building blocks of our community and serve as a connection to both our history and to each other. In order to honor and celebrate our community's key volunteers and their contribution, I initiated a program as mayor to present a city coin at the second council meeting of each month to one of our wonderful community volunteers. Next slide, please. Earlier, I mentioned the significant financial allocations the City Council approved, particularly for infrastructure spending and traffic and mobility improvements. This was possible due to the city's transparent and robust fiscal management. As demonstrated in this slide, the city's revenues have outpaced expenditures during the past several years, and this trend is expected to continue. The city's major revenue sources include property taxes, sales taxes, charges for services, vehicle and lieu fees, licenses and permits, and transit occupancy taxes. We are fortunate to be in a strong financial position today, and the prudent work of the council and our staff have us well positioned to continue to deliver excellent services to our growing community well into the future. Next slide, please. San Carlos continues to be a safe place to live, work, and visit. And thanks to our dedicated, engaged law enforcement officers, the San Carlos Police Bureau has made community policing its guiding principle, focusing on building relationships with the San Carlos community to proactively address public safety concerns. This proactive and people-focused approach to public safety includes placing a greater emphasis on the roles of our community service officers, or CSOs, often seen downtown, building relationships with members of our community. Other community policing initiatives include conducting strategic DUI safety checkpoints and a renewed partnership with the San Carlos School District for youth outreach and education. Looking at the data, our law enforcement officers were both busy and effective last year, responding to more than 12,000 calls for service with an average response time of just over 4 minutes. They made nearly 600 arrests and issued almost 3,000 citations. While there's always more work to be done, I'm proud of our San Carlos police officers and the important community building and crucial safety work they continue to do to help keep San Carlos a safe community. Turning to disaster preparedness and fire safety, the San Carlos Redwood City Fire Department revitalized its Community Emergency Response Team program, also known as CERT, and hosted 2 CERT training academies last year. These robust classes cover a range of topics from disaster medical and search and rescue techniques to fire safety and disaster preparedness. All members of the community are encouraged to participate in these free courses that help make us more resilient to the threat of wildfires and other natural disasters. In addition, the city recently kicked off construction of a modern, new, and sustainable Fire Station 16, expected to be completed at the end of next year. This new energy-efficient building will feature a larger size to accommodate modern engines and a drive-through lane to prevent blockage on Alameda, as was formerly done to allow engines to back into the station. This new station will prioritize firefighter health and welfare by isolating dirty contaminants in a hot zone. Public safety is a top priority, and we will continue our investment to ensure we can provide the best services to our residents and businesses. Next slide, please. I want to turn now to our 2023 Council strategic goals. We've set ambitious goals for 2023, taking on some of the most important issues facing our city and our community. Our strategic goals for this year include executing our downtown planning initiative, creating a Northeast area specific plan, improving mobility, traffic, and transportation infrastructure, addressing housing needs throughout the city, improving access to childcare, enacting measures aimed at climate change mitigation, adaptation, and resiliency, and exploring the creation of new recreational services for our community. Achieving these goals will take thoughtful planning, meticulous work, and sincere collaboration between San Carlos residents, council members, city staff, local businesses, and community organizations. None of these goals were set, nor will they be achieved in a vacuum. Everyone in the San Carlos community has a role to play in shaping our city into the best possible version of itself, one that lives up to its ideals as the city of good living. Next slide, please. Now we'd like to share a sneak preview of what we have planned with respect to each of our strategic goals in the year ahead. Next slide. Start with downtown, which is one of my favorites. Downtown San Carlos has always been an important community hub, connecting residents and visitors to our regionally famous restaurants, local shopping destinations, transportation services, and more. Carefully planning for the future of our beloved downtown and balancing the needs of today with the demands of tomorrow has been a high priority for City Council. In March 2022, the City of San Carlos kicked off a process to collaborate with the community to create a new vision for downtown San Carlos called the Downtown Specific Plan. The plan addresses the areas of Laurel Street, El Camino Real, and the cross streets from Holly to Greenwood Avenue. The Downtown Specific Plan is a policy document that will help shape the look, feel, and function of our downtown and will consider the right balance of businesses and housing. It will investigate opportunities to increase the economic vitality of downtown businesses while invigorating community gathering spaces. This includes taking on the exciting challenge of defining what a permanent closure of parts of Laurel Street will look like. In addition, the plan will promote alternative transportation and seek to increase and improve walking and biking connections from downtown to other neighborhoods and destinations. The city recently held a second workshop and open house and launched a survey to gather feedback on the Laurel Street closure and imagining the possibilities of its future transformation, design options to improve Harrington Park, and design scenarios for a new community plaza off the 600 block of Laurel Street. This survey closes April 30th, and we encourage everyone to take it. You can find the survey at www.sancarlosdowntownplan.org. We will continue to listen to and solicit input from the community via additional public workshops and community meetings for the duration of the process, targeting completion in September 2024. Prior to the completion of the Downtown Specific Plan, the City Council has directed staff to investigate and implement interim downtown beautification improvements. I love our downtown, and I'm often visiting the shops, eating at our restaurants, and in my case, getting a coffee at Pete's. I'm excited about the next phase of creating a future downtown, including creating a partially closed Laurel Street. But in the meantime, we need to take steps to make the downtown experience a better one. And for me and for many others, this means addressing the not so beautiful orange water walls used to safely block downtown Laurel Street to vehicular traffic by considering options to make them more aesthetically pleasing. One possibility is shown in the bottom right corner of this slide. This is a frequently heard request from the San Carlos community and a priority shared by everyone on the council. Next, please. The city's advanced planning division is currently creating a Northeast area specific plan to guide anticipated change and new development coming to the Northeast area of San Carlos. Over the last several years, this area, which includes the area north of Holly Street to the San Carlos city limits at Belmont Creek and between Highway 101 and Old County Road, has received a lot of interest from developers who would like to construct new buildings centered around the life science and biotechnology industries. Because of this, the Northeast area may see significant change from new development. This area is home to over 175 unique businesses, and the city's goal is to create a plan that supports the legacy industrial businesses and thoughtfully prepare for anticipated change. The Northeast Plan will also explore the possibility of introducing housing, provide ways to improve mobility to and through the area, prioritize district resiliency, support environmental health, and address issues such as flooding and the potential presence of hazardous substances. The process began in late 2022 and will take about 2 years to complete, with a targeted completion date of October 2024. The community is encouraged to participate in the Northeast Plan process and provide input along the way. A community workshop was held last month, and a dedicated spotlight newsletter diving into the details of this plan was mailed to every resident and business in the San Carlos in early March. A community survey is currently open, and a link to that survey can be found on the project website at sancarlosnortheastplan.com. We invite everyone to share their input, experiences, and priorities for the Northeast area. Next slide. In addition to the increased tax revenues and economic growth that will be created through new developments, we anticipate significant investment in the form of community development benefits. These benefits can be provided on the site of a project or throughout the community. Benefits can include things like infrastructure improvements to roads and sidewalks, public gathering spaces, or affordable housing. Through workshops and project meetings, community members have shared the community benefits they would like to see most. These include public parks, green buildings and infrastructure, new trails and walking paths, childcare facilities, a performing arts or community center, and other recreational facilities. The City Council will consider this input as we weigh where to invest this future funding. Next slide, please. The Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan was adopted in 2020 and encourages the use of alternative transportation in the City of Good Living. The plan will provide more options to walk and bike in San Carlos, whether it's to go to school, commute to work, access the regional trail system, or run everyday errands. The plan identifies and prioritizes new bikeways, walkways, trails, and pedestrian enhancements throughout San Carlos. Included in this plan is the creation of a buffered bike lane on Old County Road. The San Carlos Avenue Pedestrian Safety Improvement Project aims to enhance safety, connectivity, and mobility along San Carlos Avenue. The project addresses issues that often cause safety hazards between vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists, and improves pedestrian access along the corridor. Construction of phases 1 and 2 has been completed. Phase 3 started in 2022, and the purpose of the next 2 phases of this project is to construct similar improvements, allowing for a continuous stretch of sidewalk that connects downtown San Carlos to the Belmont border. The existing asphalt walkway on the south side will be replaced with concrete sidewalks, and bicycle safety improvements will also be made, including striping buffered bike lanes with green paint on the north and south sides, along with the green bicycle box at the intersection of San Carlos Avenue and Devonshire Boulevard. Landscaping and green infrastructure will also be addressed with the addition of low-level shrubs and ground cover along with flow-through planters for collecting surface stormwater runoff. Safe Routes to School is a county-wide initiative to provide safe walking and biking routes to schools in San Carlos. The Safe Routes to School initiative was developed through walk audits, collaboration with the school district, city staff, and significant community input. In February 2023, the council approved this initiative, which will be incorporated into the Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan. Other important safety improvements that are currently in progress include the installation of an activated crosswalk beacon at Belmont Avenue and El Camino, flashing beacons and crosswalk enhancements along San Carlos Avenue, the Alameda, and Industrial Road. Now I'd like to turn things over to Vice Mayor Dugan, who will provide an update on the housing and childcare strategic goals.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Vice Mayor John Dugan, and I'm excited to talk to you about the work we're doing in San Carlos on housing and childcare, 2 of our 7 top-level goals we have set as a city. Our 2023 housing goal states, the city of San Carlos will actively encourage and support the creation of housing to provide a safe, inclusive, diverse, and affordable supply by facilitating development of housing for all income levels. After completing our 100% affordable 817 Walnut Street project last year, which now provides 23 units of very much needed, very low income housing to our community, we are excited to announce two more important housing projects in our pipeline. 1232 Cherry Street, which you see on the left here, is another great example of San Carlos partnering with the nonprofit housing community to build 33 100% affordable units right in the heart of our downtown, just a half block west of Laurel. Where 817 Walnut was focused on very low income individuals and couples with mostly studio apartments, 1232 Cherry is intended to be family friendly with a mix of 1, 2, and very much needed 3-bedroom units, all in the attractive design you see here, which will blend right in with Wheeler Plaza. I love the idea that these young families will be at the very center of our community and able to easily access all the businesses, restaurants, and other great things our downtown offers. And they will be just a quick 4-minute walk to Caltrain. Site demolition begins this summer, and we expect to cut the ribbon in early 2025. This is exactly the kind of housing we need more of in San Carlos, and 1232 Cherry is a great example of how we will put to work the millions of dollars of housing in lieu fees we expect to collect from our commercial developers to help our families who need it the most. But at the end of the day, we're just a city, and there's only so much a city can do to build housing directly for its community. So I'm also very excited to tell you about what's underway at 11 El Camino Real. 11 El Camino is the large CVS property a couple blocks north of Holly Street, where a private developer has proposed 242 units of much needed rental housing in the multifamily and mixed use project you can see here. 11 El Camino will deliver 36 below market rate units, the largest number of affordable units to come from any single project in San Carlos history, while still providing over 200 units of market rate housing, which we also sorely need. I really like this project because it not only demonstrates the power of the private market to get the housing we need built, but it is also the result of recent actions we've taken as a city and an outcome of the complicated state-mandated RHNA process we worked through last year. First, we noticed in recent years, most new multifamily developments were condominiums, and that sufficient rental housing that many of our young families really need was simply not being built. So last summer, we amended our below market rate housing ordinance to raise the low income unit requirement on condos from 15 to 20%, while leaving rental projects at 15%. Our intent was to encourage more rental developments, and that is just what we're going to get with 11 El Camino. As you can see, this will be a relatively dense 5-story project, which will be new for San Carlos. As you may know, every 8 years, California requires cities throughout the state to open up their zoning to significant new housing. We worked through this process last year, and this RHNA cycle called for San Carlos to upzone to allow for at least 2,700 new housing units, which by all measures is a major lift for a community of just over 12,500 households. The good news is we still have appropriate locations for higher density, transit-oriented development along our 2-mile stretch of El Camino. So that is where we handled the lion's share of upzoning in our 2023 housing element update, which went into effect just last month. 11 El Camino is the first project to take advantage of this additional zoning density, as well as other state density bonuses to deliver 242 units of much needed new housing for our community. In other housing news, we're also reacting to new state law by removing all subjective, that is judgment or discretion-based, elements from our zoning code, and we'll put new objective-based residential design standards in place by the end of the year. The idea is this will further streamline the approval process for housing projects, but we are working hard to develop objective criteria that will still result in projects that fit into the fabric of San Carlos. Like the rest of the Bay Area and California in general, our housing development in San Carlos has not kept pace with the accelerating needs of our community. In fact, I often wonder where my 3 children are going to be able to live someday, And I know we all feel the strain of our housing crisis in our own families and friend groups. We all know good people who had to move away just to meet their housing needs. Just know that your city council takes our responsibilities on housing seriously, and I hope you can see how hard we are working as a city on this important goal. Next slide, please. Another significant issue and top-level goal for San Carlos is improving access to affordable childcare for our young families. There is simply not enough childcare in San Carlos. I know many young families who have endured long wait lists and then struggle to afford the high cost of childcare on top of our very high housing costs. There are also childcare centers who struggle to find qualified workers because they can't afford to live here. Housing and childcare are fundamentally related issues, and together they can make it hard for new parents to get back to building their careers. We remain committed as a city to expanding our childcare options, and our 2023 childcare goal states, the city of San Carlos will encourage and support the creation of childcare facilities by reducing barriers to creation and expansion. And that's what we've been doing. In 2021, we acted to remove most of the regulatory barriers and permit fees for new childcare facilities. And last year, we introduced an innovative new childcare development impact fee on all new commercial developments in the city. We know the new life science and other office workers coming to San Carlos are going to need childcare. And now if the builders don't install childcare centers in their own buildings, they will have to pay significant amounts to our city childcare fund. And we're going to use that money to facilitate and even subsidize the opening of new childcare centers in San Carlos, and also help existing providers, including our in-home childcare providers, grow their programs to help more San Carlos families find the affordable, convenient, and excellent childcare they so need. But we'd rather have private developers build the childcare their commercial tenants will need, because we know direct build projects will get more childcare open faster, and such on-site childcare is good for both children and their parents in many ways. And that is exactly what our new childcare in lieu fee ordinance has incentivized, and that's what we expect to see. In fact, we now have two significant commercial developments being planned, 642 Quarry Road and Alexandria's next life science building, which both include on-site childcare, which is really great. We take childcare very seriously as a council, and in 2 weeks on April 19th, we're also hosting a childcare roundtable with both providers and parents to hear everyone's concerns directly and to help us brainstorm the most impactful ways we can spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars of new childcare in lieu fees we expect to collect in the next few years. I hope everyone interested in childcare in San Carlos will participate and bring us their best ideas. With that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Rack. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you for your leadership on housing and so many issues in San Carlos. Your passion certainly shows through. Turning to climate change, protecting San Carlos against the threats posed by climate change is an important strategic goal for 2023 and beyond. To combat its effects and to plan for adaptation strategies, the city will look to guidance from our climate mitigation and adaptation plan. Strategies to combat climate change include taking steps to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, while also preparing and adapting to extreme weather events and other hazards that may be made worse by a changing climate. Our environmental activities include promoting the transition to electric vehicles and alternative transportation, making buildings more climate friendly, and reducing the consumption of single-use plastics. I can say that word. These efforts reduce our emissions while also improving the health and safety of the San Carlos community. A changing climate means more frequent extreme weather events like the recent storms and flooding that we've seen hit San Carlos and surrounding communities. The city is continuing to take proactive measures to prepare and reduce the impacts to the community from these events. Last year, as part of our annual stormwater program, the city conducted 1,500 total inspections of storm drains, creeks, and levees. In addition, city crews cleaned 1,000 catch basins and 6,000 feet of culverts, which are the tunnels we use to carry stormwater underneath our roads. In total, 35 tons of debris were cleared from inlets, drains, and creeks to helping to safeguard against flooding. Every year, residents and businesses with creekside property are encouraged to participate in our annual creek cleanup along Cordilleras, Pulgas, and Belmont Creeks. Property owners are required to maintain sections of the creek that pass through their properties, and city crews will haul all items picked up from the creek free of charge. Creek cleanups help reduce the risk of flooding and damage it can cause, in addition to minimizing erosion and contamination. As such, city staff work hard to provide information to residents about why the cleanup is so important and how collaboration to make this a success. The city is also working with our neighboring cities and regional partners to obtain yearly permits from state and federal regulatory agencies to allow better access to clear debris in culverts and bridges that have accumulated over time. The city's sustainability division hosted a home electrification workshop in partnership with Bay Ren Home and Peninsula Clean Energy to demystify and simplify electrification options and costs available to homeowners. New EV charging stations were installed in a Wheeler Plaza parking garage last year, and the city continues to look at expanding and enhancing electric vehicle services and our EV charging network. We are also committed to replacing our city-owned gas vehicles with electric ones. All of this helps San Carlos meet its goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions 40% by 2030. In addition to EV charging, we took a major step towards reducing plastic pollution and protecting public health by joining many other jurisdictions in the county by adopting a disposable foodware ordinance. The ordinance is now in effect and requires restaurants and other food facilities to eliminate disposable plastic foodware and replace it with plastic fiber-based compostable alternatives. I'm sure you have noticed the change from plastic foodware for takeout from many of our eating establishments. In 2023, we will be heavily focused on community education and support, connecting residents to resources and incentives for electrifying their homes and participating in a clean energy transition. Finding ways to enhance electrification and lower emissions in new construction and major remodels in San Carlos will be another important goal. As a council member, I was disheartened by the electrification exemptions requested by commercial developers for many of their projects, while residents and the city continue to work hard to electrify. That is why, as mayor, I propose that staff investigate the feasibility of charging a solar impact fee for those seeking exemptions from electrification. The fees generated could be used to help put more solar on public buildings and in public parking lots to keep us moving forward towards achieving our ambitious greenhouse gas reduction goals. Next slide, please. Recreation is a cornerstone of our good living community and a personal priority for me as mayor. I've always said that San Carlos is an incredible place to live, work, and play. And we must ensure that the play portion of that statement remains true and vibrant as we grow and change. From summer camp to senior trips and playgrounds to open space trails, the recreation services provided by the city serve to connect us to our neighbors and to San Carlos itself. While our calendar is full as ever this year, we're always looking for ways to expand recreational opportunities for community members of all ages in San Carlos. Our 2023 strategic plan goals include creating a new parks master plan that will guide our recreation priorities for the next decade and beyond. This plan will focus on enhancing current facilities and envisioning new recreational opportunities for all members of our community. Stay tuned over the next year for community engagement surveys and workshops to share your vision and ideas for a healthier and more active San Carlos. In the near term, the city will be exploring additional recreational improvements at North Crestview Park. Currently featuring open space and trails, staff will explore the possibility of creating more active recreational uses there, like play structures, pickleball courts, and tennis courts. Like many of you, I enjoy our open space parks for the fresh air and hiking trails, and as Phoebe mentioned, also to do some birding. While new active uses of North Crestview Park are being explored, the city will be literally looking to make better connections by implementing a trail connection plan throughout San Carlos. The goal of this plan would be to expand and improve upon our vast trail system in the city and connect it to other regional trails and recreational spaces like Pulgus Ridge from new locations throughout town. Next slide, please. The goals that we set now for San Carlos will guide our community's success and prosperity for years to come. As we draw closer to celebrating 100 years in the city of good living, we are well positioned to strengthen our city's ability to provide sustainable, equitable, and meaningful services to all members of our community. It is without question that the people who make up our community, the residents, business owners, volunteers, and others are the fundamental ingredient that makes San Carlos the exceptional place that it is. Everything we do as a council and as a city is in service to the people in our community. The San Carlos of the future, the San Carlos I hope for and work for, built on a foundation of fiscal responsibility and careful planning, with adequate housing for today and for the next generation, with ample recreational services and activities, a vibrant downtown, a more walkable and bike-friendly city, and meaningful connections for everyone in our community. That San Carlos is made possible by the stewardship shown right now from all of us, our council, city staff, business leaders, and community members. Together, we are delivering on our promises for the San Carlos of today, while ensuring a path of success for the San Carlos of tomorrow. The state of our city is strong. Our future is bright, and I am eager to work with you to achieve our vision for the city of good living. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rack, Vice Mayor Dugan, for a very inspirational hour of the State of the City address. This was a really special moment, and I want to thank you for all you do for our community. So I am going to close this out on behalf of Chamber San Mateo County. Thank you for attending this morning's Good Morning San Mateo County program. And just a reminder, some very special events that are coming up in San Carlos that are near and dear to many people. We are kicking off the San Carlos Farmers Market. It is coming back on Sunday, April 23rd, from 9 to 1 on downtown Laurel Street. And the very special community event that brings everybody from all over San Carlos and all over from San Mateo County hometown days. So please do mark that. It'll be May 20 through May 21. So I will close us out. Thank you again. And thank you again, Mayor Rack and Vice Mayor Dugan. Have a good day.